everyone. Happy Sunday. Happy day 20. Okay, so we're gonna chant for an hour today or something very close to that, and hopefully you have a candle so you can look into the candle's flame, which is, at its simplest, just an object of attention and an entrancing object to sort of, lose yourself within. But this technique, if you're curious of it, if you want to read up on it later, it's called Tratak. T-R-A T-A-K-A. Tratak. A's are often silent in Sanskrit. And we're just looking into the candle's flame. The quick symbolism, the flame is your consciousness. And just like that little flame, your awareness lights up the world around you so that you can behold the experience of existing. We're going to move through the 4 layers of sound, but the vast majority of your time chanting is going to be in Vaikari, right? In this audible sound, or in Ahata, sort of external audible sound. And that's sort of it. If you do not have a candle, no worries. Just sort of look into the distance, find a little spot on the wall, keep your eyes locked onto that place, and the effect will remain the same. Maybe not as romantic as if you were looking into a candle's flame, but otherwise very, very similar. If you don't have an hour to practice, get your phone, set a timer for the time that you have available, and then the timer will go off for you, and you can carry on with your Sunday morning. Little bit of advice, an hour is a fairly long time to be in practice. Make yourself very, very comfortable. So if you found that in our regular lessons, the 30 minutes, that your legs fall asleep or your hips get tight or your back gets sore, put some more cushions underneath your butt to sit upon, or maybe some cushions underneath the knees to brace them against gravity. Comfort will sort of, catapult your practice in such a more profound direction. And the burden of pain can really sort of cut your practice off at the knees. And so make yourself very comfortable. The other thing is, take it one breath at a time, one inhale at a time, one mantra, one chant of the Om at a time. And if you just lose yourself in the individuality of every round of breath or every mantra, the hour will pass by so quickly. And then the final thing, if a remarkable sort of moment of peace ever occurs, or a sense of presence, a moment worth noting happens, I want you to consider, maybe in hindsight, not in the immediate moment. In the immediate moment, you're just, letting it go and connecting to the next mantra or the next chant. But in hindsight, it's like, oh, that was really interesting. I was sort of sitting there, I was chanting, I was looking at the flame as I had been doing for 20 minutes earlier. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it became very peaceful, it became very expansive, it became very mystical. What exactly happens? What exactly happened to you in that moment? And so physiologically, you entered a flow state. The task-oriented network turned on. The default mode network in your brain turned off. And all of a sudden, there was no more self, and there was no more social construct in your mind, and therefore in your reality. And as the social construct and your identity dissolved neurologically, you were left to behold the present moment in its sort of like virgin expression, without the limitations of a self, with memories and expectations and preferences and all of this. And all of a sudden, you're looking into this candle flame, and it's like, very, very meaningful, very, very perfect, very, very satisfying. But more interestingly to the yogis, what happened is you stopped associating yourself with objects, with your body, with your name, with your identity. You broke the obstacle, the klesha, asmita. And so it's, the philosophy and the biology sort of run parallel to one another. And the other thing that happens is you stopped associating as your false self, as the I, or the shallow I, and you connected to consciousness. For that moment, you became or leaned into pure consciousness, or Atman. And again, you broke the klesha, avidya, or ignorance. You stepped past your ignorance and actually beheld the world for what it was. And so again, in hindsight, when you reflect later on today onto what happened in those really special moments, the kleshas, avidya and asmita, were smashed, and you entered your true self. Biologically, one more time, part of your brain turned on, and you essentially forgot who you were, and sort of were allowed to perceive the moment from this clean slate, this pure consciousness. Again, philosophy and biology running side by side. Groovy. Okay. So let's do this. 1 hour of chanting the Om. Let's set ourselves up. Strong seated positions. You have the candle out in front of you. If your eyes ever get tired looking into that light, just close your eyes and pay attention to the darkness. Take a couple breaths, prepare yourselves. This might be the longest meditation you've participated in a while or ever. All right. Tilt your hips forward, straighten your spine, straighten your arms. So you're paying attention to your lines. Relax your hands, rotate your palms up to the sky. Relax your shoulder blades down your back, shut your jaw. Close your eyes for now. Take a moment to focus on your body. Tingling and buzzing. The vibratory nature. Nud sound. And so the same way a coder can see past the interface of a website or the internet at large, when you take the time to feel this vibratory sensation, you are seeing past the guise of surface expressions and essentially looking into the code of sensory experience. This is the binary pulse of life, this buzz. And as diversity is reduced into simplicity, that simplicity proves to be, to those that step into it, that simplicity proves to be deeply tranquilizing. Now bring a random finger to each thumb. Again, maybe straighten your elbows. Notice as you straighten your elbows, your awareness perks up. Now start to control your breaths. Deep, steady inhales, prolonged exhales. Avoid the collarbone region. And of course, take the time to enjoy these slow breaths. And so we'll spend about 3 minutes here. If that initial wave of peace comes, it comes. Bring your hands to heart center, memorize it. If that wave of peace does not come, it does not come. Keep your wrists on your knees and consider you have subconscious expectations or worries. You are still entranced in the limiting factor of the mind and its preferences. All good. And the simple solution is just to feel your body, feel this binary pulse of vibration with a bit more intensity. 3 minutes starts now. To the sages of India, the pursuit of soul, the pursuit of that which is beyond the sensory, that which is beyond the ordinary, is absolutely real. As real as the stars, as real as magnetism, as real as gravity, as real as the waves of emotions that define human art and human creativity. It is absolutely true that the myth of consciousness and the myth of the soul change someone's life when they behold it and build a relationship to it. And the evidence for this reality is the way in which these sages live. And so I just want you to consider, as you prime yourself for your practice today, prime yourself for staring into a flame for an hour and chanting a sacred and ancient phonetic syllable, that this isn't just a game to the yogic mind, that you are on a true journey, and that if you are diligent and stay the course, the reward is as real as anything. So I hope that perks you up and brings a smile to your face. Real meaning. Let's come to Bhumi Sparsha Mudra. Left hand Prajna wisdom, right hand Upaya. The way we'll chant the mantra, A, U, and as you breathe in, just pay attention to the silence, the absence of that mantra. A, U, in silence. Open your eyes when you're ready. Lock on to your object of attention, your drishti, your candle's flame, a point on the wall. Slow and steady, one breath at a time, one om at a time, and before you know it, the practice will be over. Now, Madayam Nad. Whisper the chant of the Om. Sing it as softly as you can, and notice how that funnels your attention into a more specific space. Keep staring into the flame. If you've been closing your eyes and opening your eyes at this point, keep your eyes open. They won't stay open for much longer. Now, as you whisper the Om, ask yourself, what is the real game here? Consider the real game is focus. Focus on what you're doing. Focus on what you're feeling. And focus on the belief that there is something within the shield of sensory form. There is something within that fire. Something within the vibrations of your song. Something within your thoughts. And now close your eyes. Look into the darkness of your closed eyes, shunyata drishti, and stay awake to the absence of the external. Be cognizant of the fact that this is a reductive journey. The senses are slowly taken away to reveal what the senses can't behold, but what a trained mind can perceive. The innermost individual, the I. Feel the vibrations rising from the throat to the jaw to the face to the head. Lose yourself in that tactile touch. And now silence the chanting from Madayam Nad to Pashyanti Nad. Mental repetition. Ah, oo, and feel almost miraculously that you can still sense the vibration rising from the throat into the jaw, into the face. Again, the journey is reductive, and now where there was sound, there is no sound. Only an internal sound. So we're moving ever deeper and further into more subtle spaces. And now the Paranud. the primordial sound. Silence the mental repetition of the mantra and just feel the ever-present vibration of your body and its aliveness. Be aware of the silence in the mind as well as the silence around you. Be aware of the darkness of your closed eyes and the world outside of that. So again, reductive and simplified. Stay focused on the vibrations in the chest, in the throat, in the face. Slow, peaceful breaths. Now relax your mind. Slow down your breath and listen to the world around you. And so you've been sitting down for an hour, staring into a candle's flame, chanting a sound, feeling your body, focusing on the experience of this practice. And dealing with the ups and downs of the mind. All of it was a journey, whether conscious or subconscious. It has pulled you into a new space, physiologically, neurologically, psychologically. And so the underlying point is there is the world, a cosmic phenomenon of existence that is defined by beginnings and ends, and the change in between. And then there is something within the world. The world is inherently unstable, never changing, and for that reason known as Maya, illusion. And as we exist in the world, we fundamentally seek stable ground. And all the yogis suggest is that that island of stability only exists within you. And as your practice matures, you start to realize how deep and expansive you really are. And that the body you thought you were is as unstable as the ocean. And that the mind and identity you thought you were is equally as volatile. And so those that sincerely seek that stable island have to dig deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper within. And so notice that sense of comfort that arises, that sense of power and confidence and fundamentally peace that arises as you internalize your awareness. And at the end of your practice today, just ask yourself this question. Svadhyaya, self-study, self-inquiry. What is this I that beholds the dynamic, volatile, ever-changing experience of life? What is the I that beholds the most reduced expression of that life, the vibration in my nerves? What is that? The answer is the experience. You are resting. You are sitting as that. And so slow down your breath. We're going to spend our last couple minutes here, very much like the introductory session. If peace comes, bring your hands to heart center. If the epiphany of the innermost individual arises within these breaths, bring your hands to heart center and work diligently to memorize it. If it does not come, it's fine. Rest in the success of your practice. Rest in the confidence that you sat for an hour meditating, and appreciate that it takes time. Bring your hands to heart center, everyone. Acknowledge yourself. You inside the body, you inside the world, you inside your life, you within your thoughts. Acknowledge yourself by name. And I think a nice way to reduce this highly abstract philosophy of the innermost individual, Atman, is by just considering this person you are. And I can call all your names out. That person you are is more real than the world. And that upon death, upon the end of the Om, when you are removed from the world, what remains is you, not the world. What remains is the individual. And so you just want to stay here and consider that. I am more real than the world. I am the foundation in which the entire universe manifests. This is the epiphany that Vishnu woke up into as he drifted on top of the ocean of Maya, on top of the world. And for very logical reasons, the vast majority of the time we think it's the other way around. That we depend on life. The individual depends on the universe. Thumb knuckles to third eye center. Press your thumbs into the skin of your forehead. Focus on that point. Who feels the pressure of those thumbs on that forehead? I. Release your wrists to your knees, tall spine, straight arms. And sit accomplished. Huge practice today. What a powerful way to start a Sunday morning. With a breath in, open your eyes. And just repeat in the mind, I am no longer meditating. And in that, the depth of that space, which might have been unobvious to you, is a bit more obvious.